All right, science time. So Candace Owens replied to something, and it brings about a whole realm of issues with it. Harry's is sponsoring Michael Knowles, the same Michael Knowles who's spreading homophobic and transphobic content. He had Joseph Nicolosi Jr. as a guest on the show and equates being trans to having schizophrenia. It is wrong that Harry's or anyone sponsors vile content. Thanks for bringing this up. We condemn the views of this video, which are inexcusable and at odds with our longtime support of the LGBTQ plus community. We've ended our relationship with the show and are looking into sponsorships to prevent any values misalignment going forward. And Candace Owens tweets, gender dysphoria is legally classified as a psychiatric disorder, as is schizophrenia by American Psychiatric Association's DSMV. You are condemning the truth because it's become unpopular to speak it. Shame on you. Hoping my followers who use this brand will dump it. So first of all, you do like cancel culture. Oh, because they think differently than you. You do want to cancel them. Oh. Homosexuality used to be classified as much. I could go down the tweets here. There's so if it's a disorder, then it's real. No one is denying schizophrenia is real, so why deny this? What you're confirming is that it's a state of mind people can't control, so maybe we should treat them like humans. The WHO started the initiative to declassify GD as a mental disease back in 2013. I'm pretty sure they officially declassified in May 2019. Even though they did, I sometimes wonder if they made a mistake, which they cannot take back. That's everyone agrees that gender dysphoria is a disorder. You are pretending that being transgender is a disorder. It is not. They are different things. Not every trans person has gender dysphoria, so not every trans person has a disorder. Very simple. Yes, I have a longer piece on trans people that I would like to upload to YouTube in the future. I will probably get to that as soon as possible. It's done. I just have to label it and stitch it together. That's hypocritical of you. Not only are you engaging in cancel culture, not only are you spitting misinformation and deceit to make a point because you love owning the libs, but like you say you are condemning the truth because it's become unpopular to speak it. No, they just don't align with that belief because that's not the belief that community carries about itself. The same way, if somebody were to go on cable news and start saying, "Oh, black people like fried chicken and watermelon," well, I don't want to do business with you anymore. Why are conservatives so weirded out that the direction of capitalism is flying away from like conservative beliefs? You are a weird duck. So, speaking of weird ducks,
another day, another intensifying scandal for Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York, because breaking tonight, the New York Times has now reported another accuser has now come forward, as aide Alyssa McGrath is now accusing Cuomo of making suggestive remarks, gazing down her shirt, asking about her lack of a wedding ring, calling her and her coworker, quote, mingle mamas. And now McGrath is the first current aide to speak publicly about these harassment allegations. Cuomo is, yes, denying these allegations. We'll have a lot more straight ahead, but also developing tonight, accuser Lindsey Boylan. Remember the one that came first and came forward with a new allegation that Cuomo said that he would, quote, mount her if, quote, he were a dog. Oh, boy. Now, in that same interview with Ronan Farrow, Boylan also slams Hillary Clinton for her silence and her refusal to condemn Cuomo for what is now a growing number of accusations that suggest a predatory pattern of behavior. Now, as Farrow writes in The New Yorker, quote, Clinton, Boylan told me, was the great hero of my life. She said that was no longer the case. There's no way you don't know who this man is if you've worked with or around him for decades, she added. But remember, the accountability for Governor Cuomo should have come a long time ago with his nursing home cover-up and group home cover-up. Because breaking tonight, the New York Times also reporting that the FBI is now probing whether or not the Cuomo administration gave false information, false data on nursing home deaths to the Department of Justice amid their inquiry last summer. This story is now intensifying by the hour. It all starts the truth deserve so much.
And make the death count. I want to point out
Candace Owens, you, certainly a failure of leadership. And the victims, their families, they deserve so much better. Here with reaction, the host of Candace Owens. All right.
God, I hate her smug
Candace,
ass
this
face.
is a real serious issue. So all of this is now culminating into one big movement. Where's it headed?
Yeah, you know, I do want to point out one thing that I think is sort of getting lost in all of this noise, which is really remarkable to point out about Cuomo. At the same time that he's instructing his staff to bury the death count and instructing people to go into these nursing homes, he's also penning a book. Okay? He's penning a book, a self-congratulatory book to himself, and making money off of saying, I am the COVID leader. He's positioning himself as if he's going to run in the future for president of the United States. There's something rather maniacal about that, is there not? To say, hush, keep this on the hush. We don't want anybody to know this. We want to keep it under the hush because we don't want any federal investigation. At the same time that you're accepting Emmys and awards for press briefings, and you're also penning a book. So let's not let that get lost.
That's not lost. That's the whole point. That's what he just said. That's the whole point. Like, why do you think Democrats, why do you think the left backs the guy? Why? Who was the one calling for his resignation? Us.
He's in a bad state right now. We know that. It's going to be remarkable to see whether or not he steps down, because he seems to be holding on. I'm not sure what for. Everyone's thrown him under the bus, except, of course, for the Clintons, right?
Yeah, of course. Okay. Now, overall, do you see that as obstruction? In other words, our knowledge is it was the March 25th executive order for the nursing homes. Okay. The numbers showed in June that a very high number of nursing home deaths had occurred. Then we had the admission by a Cuomo staffer that they wanted the health department to hide those numbers because they didn't want them to be found by the Department of Justice. That was the beginning of the cover-up, when at that point, the responsible thing to do would have been to rescind the order. What do you see from a legal standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, from a legal standpoint, absolutely. It's an open and shut case in terms of obstruction, but open and shut cases have never gotten Democrats in trouble.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is at this point while you are watching, I must remind you about one Bill Clinton. I know, straw man argument. Only picking one Democrat out of like the entire field of, but on tangible evidence, like, do I like Andrew Cuomo? Do I think he was a great leader? I think he did the same thing Giuliani did. He showed great face to like the front and just had like a bunch of terrible shit behind him. Do I back him? No. But like, even I could admit he looked good. Like, that was just about it. You were sparring with the dude that we all hated. You were doing fucked up shit behind the scenes, and yeah, you should absolutely get everything that's coming to you. Nobody's debating that. Why he is debating it is obvious. He wants to keep his goddamn job. But like,
you know that, I know that, right? So at the end of the day, maybe he gets a slap on the wrist and he gets to go off into the silent. I think at worst, he's going to have to step down. He's not even doing that now. So, you know, I'd like to be optimistic. I'd like to believe in the process. I'd like to believe that the FBI will take the necessary steps to make sure that he never gets any power in his hands ever again. But I always find myself shocked that they can get away with so much, Democrats, and yet there seems to be no consequence for any of the actions that they do.
Are you backing the Republican Party, who has done equally asinine things and just, see, that's why I couldn't be a fucking political pundit for one side, because I'm going to hear some shit about my own side and be like, why are we calling this out on everything? Why are you existing in my life? Like, fuck, man. Sorry. That's just annoying me. What the hell is what is your point? This is why I'm wondering why people like argue that she's doing this for the benefit of, even if so, And I hate that we have to keep having the double talk. Like, your man ran wild with shit larger than this. Do we not remember the ordering of the extrajudicial killing of one of the protesters? Are we not like remembering that? Like, why are you backing a fascist party? That makes me call you a race traitor, sellout. Like, what are you doing here? What is your existence here? I don't understand people that do shit like that.
Okay, and that's the main thing. Now, could you imagine if any of this was under Donald Trump's watch? What would the media be doing and saying now? Obviously, that's the answer.
Kidding.
Yeah, no, I'm actually
the media, not the judicial system. Those aren't together. See, that's what I mean. Like, people watch that and don't see that shit.
Not kidding, but I have to ask.
What would they be doing if this was, I mean, there's so many questions of what they would be doing. What if Trump fell up steps today, you know? I mean, every single thing that Trump did was under scrutiny all the time. They never let up on their pressure campaign, and they were falsely accusing him the whole time. They had no evidence of anything that they were accusing Trump of. They just thought if we say it enough times, it's true. If we create enough pressure, he has to go away. And
does that not apply to Andrew Cuomo here? Again, see, it's like now I'm reaching for like, if you say something, can you be consistent? And there's no consistency here. And oh, great. Somebody emote that. That's a great fucking face to emote. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna do it. Oh, I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna send this to a friend of mine real quick. We're gonna emote this. Perfect. Like, what are you saying here? What are you doing? What's the matter with you?
And they never let up, not once. And you're not seeing that same treatment in the media right now when it comes to Cuomo. You're not seeing that same treatment with all of these accusers coming left and right. You're not seeing that resound renunciation.
Because one is a president and one is a governor. The New York news media is covering it exactly how you want it to.
That we saw for Trump when there was absent any evidence, you know, so there still seems to be, and yes, a lot is going on, a lot of accusers are coming out to speak against Cuomo, but you are not seeing the vicious campaign that they led against Donald Trump being treated and executed the same against Governor Andrew Cuomo, and we need to see more of that. Governors
don't get media coverage that way. Like, what is your point here? Ugly. And this is the woman that y'all back.
I am deeply protective over my family. She's gonna get sued for that, plain and simple. I don't play games with that kind of stuff.
The battle is on between conservative pundit Candace Owens and Cardi B.
When I say something like she's toxic to culture, the reason she gets so worked up and she starts spiraling is because she knows it's real.
It all started on Monday when Candace appeared on Fox News and criticized Cardi and Megan Thee Stallion's performance of their hit single WAP at Sunday's Grammy Awards.
You see that fundamentally we are seeing the destruction of American values, American principles, and it's terrifying. I think parents should be terrified that this is the direction that our society is heading towards. And again, we are weakening America. That's really what we should be talking about. This is a weakening of American society. We are setting the stage, and it feels like we are looking at corrosion, like we are about to see the end of an empire.
Well, Cardi shared that clip on Twitter, writing, "Yay, we made Fox News, guys. Wop, wop, wop." She added, quote, "Matter of fact, I'm just going to thank Candy Owens. She put my performance on Fox News, giving it more views that boosted the views on YouTube and is counting towards my streams and sales."
Oh, snappity snap, snap.
But things quickly went downhill after Cardi shared an alleged tweet from Owens claiming the political commentator's husband had cheated on her with Owens' brother. The author initially laughed off the tweet, writing, quote, "I am literally laughing out loud. Cardi, my dear, that is clearly a Photoshop tweet. Only one of us has a husband that sleeps around." But later added that she is 100% suing Cardi, adding, "You can't just start throwing out wild lies against private members of my family because you're upset someone called you out on your degenerate performance."
She shares this photoshopped tweet and that says that my husband had an affair with my brother.
completely wild, completely inappropriate. And she knows she's lying, obviously, when she says this, but she doubles down and she says it's not photoshopped. I saw the tweet go out on a day that you were trending. So she's lying. So unfortunately for Cardi, and the problem with having success is that just because you're successful doesn't mean you're smart. Like, she's gonna get sued.
Owens later took to Instagram to address the whole thing in a 13-minute long video.
I am deeply protective over my family, especially my brother, who is a completely private citizen and has nothing to do with Cardi B and her twerking and whopping, and for her.
You know, for somebody who wants black liberation so much, you hate black people so much. Your whole identity is literally going after anything in black culture that doesn't make you align with white people at like the slightest. And for some reason, you think this is a great moral hill to die on. I don't understand it. I don't get it. And I would love to, at any one point in time, pull out the absolute facts about black history, because it seems like you missed all of that shit. You try to have these debates in some form or fashion where like you're talking from a moral ground standpoint, but all of your points are very weak. They're very unintelligent. I think you caught the algorithm at the right time, and you got to your name to fame by grifting. I don't appreciate your existence in black culture, and that is a horrible way to even I don't care about Cardi B with her twerking and her whopping. Oh, her being a mother doesn't matter now, right? See, like, it's like the inconsistency. You're arguing a position based on your feelings about somebody, and then talk about how the left deals in feelings and feelings and feelings. Like, I don't understand you. Why do you live with so much hate in your heart? Like, for what? Out of what? What do you gain from it? What do you want black people to do? How do you want them to follow you? Do you want to be a leader? Are you ready to stand up for civil rights? Or do you think this society is just perfect the way it is, and like we're all just making it up in our heads? Like, you don't have the consistency to both say there are issues, but they're all black people issues and nothing is about the system, but then complain about I don't get you. Goodbye.